So if you're football betting, you must have come across the both to score market. And this particular market, as the name suggests, is where you can place a bet and you'll win if both teams score. But of course, how are you going to work out if both teams are going to score? Well, you're in luck, because in this video what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to calculate the chance that both teams will score, so that you can use that information and knowledge to your advantage. And whether you're betting or trading, this will be significantly beneficial for you. So if you're interested in learning that, then watch the rest of this video. If you're interested in trading with BetAngel, then visit our website where you can download a free trial of BetAngel Professional and BetAngel Trader. If you want to learn how to use them, then visit the Academy where we give you a detailed, structured walkthrough of each product. And if you're an existing user, then head on over to the forum where we have a load of files for you to download to customize and use within BetAngel. So when I approach a problem within the market, one of the things that I will always try and do is to accurately describe what is going on, because when you can do that, that can give you the confidence in the ability to either predict something, to be able to base some judgments upon it, or to interpret exactly what's going on in the market. And my approach is always the same, and that is you have a starting state, you have an ending state, and then I try and work out how the two are linked together. So it could be a financial market, it could be a sports market, it could be racing, it could be tennis, it could be football, it could be anything, but I adopt the same approach. What is it doing over here? Where did it go to? How can I see the link between those two particular scenarios? So what we're specifically going to do in this video is look at the both to score market in football. And when you're football betting, you would have seen this, and we're going to accurately describe that, and we're going to do that in that particular manner. And the reason that we're going to do that is because we want to create a model. If you go on to any particular football stats website, you will see, if you look at the end of season stats, not only do they have the league table, which is what we're going to use to have a good look and to understand how we can use that to project forward, but you will also see that they probably have loads of stats on there already about the number of matches that ended over and under a certain number of goals. You will see both to score statistics in there, which teams tended to have matches where both teams scored. But what you're looking at there is historical data. You're data mining. You're looking back at something and trying to form a judgment on something that's already happened. But the most important thing that you can do is not to look at data because you suffer from statistical deja vu, but it's to use that data to create a model of some sort. And that's exactly what we're going to do in a second. But typically where we would start is by looking at the league table itself, because that will give us the first sort of leg up to understand exactly how we can create the model and exactly how that's going to influence what we do within the market. So of course what we're looking here is for both teams to score. So we're sort of saying, what matches, how is this going to happen? What metrics can we look at? How can we describe the chance that both teams will score? And necessarily we're going to look at the league table, but the league table that you generally see isn't of much help to us, because it contains all of the teams that have played at home and all of the results against the away teams, but it sort of all merges them together. Whereas what we're really focused on is one particular aspect of that. So I don't think I've probably described that very well, but basically what I'm trying to say is the first thing that we do when we look at the league table is we split it up. So we want to have a look at all of the home teams, and we all want to look at the performance that they have away. But fundamentally speaking, all that we're going to be doing is looking at that home form, because that will give us most of the information that we require. So the first thing to do, we look at the league table, but then we specifically narrow in on the home form. So when we're looking at the league table, what's the most important piece of information that's on there? Is it the number of times the team has won, the number of times they've drawn, or the number of times that they've lost? Well, no, forget all of that. I never actually look at all of that information. Well, I do look at it, but it's not of great importance to me. I'm more primarily interested in the number of goals that they've scored and the number of times that they've conceded. So using just those two bits of data, you can begin to derive all sorts of interesting information about the way that the team has performed and what they're going to do, or what they're likely to do within the future. So when we're looking specifically at a league table, that's the thing that is of most interest to us. So now it's time to come up with the magic formula, the formula that will totally transform your financial profile for the rest of your life. or allow you to create a reasonable model for the both to score market. One of the two of those is going to happen in the next few minutes. But basically what we're going to do is, I have covered this on another video in a lot more depth. It took about 20 minutes, which is why I'm not going to repeat it on this video. We're just going to shorten and truncate the process here to allow you to get to the key information very quickly. But if you're interested in the detail of how I discover this formula, how it works, and a worked example, then I suggest you watch that other video. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to take the average number of goals that we've got from the historical data that we've picked up from somewhere, and we're basically going to take the transcendental number E and we're going to raise that to the negative power of the average number of goals. What am I talking about here? What gobbledygook have I just spouted? Well, let me simplify it for you. If we go into Excel and we actually type in equals EXP open brackets, and then we actually put in negative the historical number of average goals that the home team has scored, which in this case is going to be 2, close brackets and press enter, what that will actually do for us is it will spit out a number. So we've basically gone into Excel, typed in this little formula, and it's come up with a number of 0.1353. Now that is representing the chance that the home team does not score in the next match. And we basically said the home team has scored an average of 2 goals in all of the data that we're looking at. What's the chance of them not scoring in this next match? And that formula has told us it's about 13.5%. And you're thinking, hold on a second, Peter, you said you were going to tell us the chance of both teams to score, so why are you telling us the chance of a team not scoring? That's a bit useless, isn't it? Sort of, but not, because all we need to do is invert it. We basically do 1 minus that number, and that will actually give us the opposite. So we've got the chance of the team not scoring, we want the chance of the team scoring, so we do 1 minus 13.5% gives us 86.5%. So if a team has scored an average of 2 goals on the data that you've collected, the chance of them scoring at least 1 goal in the next match is going to be about an 86% chance. And of course, the lower the number of average goals, the smaller that number gets, and the higher the number of average goals, the higher that number gets. But of course, we've got to solve the problem on the other side as well, because we've got the away team that is going to score some goals as well. So let's simplify things and say that the away team has a historical average of 2 goals as well. That means that both of them have got an 86% chance of scoring a goal in the next match. And the way that we combine those two numbers together is that we multiply them. So if we multiply 86.5% by 86.5%, we're going to come out at roughly 75%. We have solved the problem. 2 teams that score an average of 2 goals each in previous matches actually have a 75% chance of both teams scoring in the next match. We have solved the both teams to score problem. And then of course we can convert that into odds if we so wish to do so. But the most important thing here is that we've used historical data, we've done that little calculation, we've combined one team against the other, and hey presto, we have actually come up with a percentage probability of both teams to score in the next match. Now what we can do from here is we can actually play around with it. Now that we know that the formula works and how it works, we can actually plot all of the possible scenarios that could occur to give us a nice little model. So let's have a look at that model. So what I've done on the next slides that I'm going to show you is basically I've plotted the home team scoring in 0.25 goal increments on the horizontal axis, and on the vertical axis I've actually got it plotting the number of goals that they concede, i.e. the number of goals that the away team score. And the reason that I've done this is because once you come up with a way of describing what you're looking at, then you can actually put it into one of these models. And the reason for doing that is that you can then convert these percentage probabilities into odds. And I've got the odds, which I'll show you in a second. But basically when you do that, you can look at the market, you can look at a both to score market, and you can say, okay, this is what the market is discounting. It's discounting this many goals for the home team on average, this many for the away team on average. Or you could come up with your own calculation based upon the number of goals on average that you think the home team should score against this particular team. And then you can actually run along there and you can actually put that into a percentage, and then you can bet against that if you think that your model is better than what the market is presenting to you. But yeah, the whole reason for creating a graph like this is basically to give you that ability to either look forward or backwards, or to compare what you're looking at compared to what the market's doing, and so on. So this gives you the ability to sort of project and predict forward, or at least get some more information from the market. If you look at the graph, I'll hold it on the screen for a short period of time. I suggest you pause the video if you want to actually have a look at it in more depth. But basically you can see in the bottom left hand corner, it's a deep red, and that is because there aren't many goals being scored by either the home or away team, so necessarily the chance of both teams scoring is significantly lower. But you can see that as we move up to the top right hand corner, then that turns into a deep blue, and therefore the chance of both teams scoring is increasing fairly dramatically at this particular moment in time. But you can see on the X and the Y axis, on the horizontal and vertical axes, you can actually see the number of goals that this formula is predicting based upon a historical average, and how that combines to come up with a certain percentage. But yeah, by taking that simple formula, looking at historical data, we can come up with a model that gives us the ability to predict and look at what information is contained within the market, or what the price should be based upon any model that we've come up with based upon whatever historical data that we're looking at. But yeah, we've created a model that allows us to understand and predict what the odds should be on a both to score market. So to summarize what you should have learnt within this video, you have basically learnt how to forecast the chance of both teams scoring. It's a relatively simple process to go through, but like I've said, you should sort of put your own angle on it to give yourself a bit of an edge over other people that are attempting to do the same sort of thing. But the way that we did it was we basically looked at league data, we split up the league data and focused specifically on the home data. That would give us the amount of average goals that the home team would score and the average number of goals that they would concede. You can look at that by saying the amount that the away team would score. Then we used the magic formula to basically convert that into a percentage. That percentage told us the chance of no goals going in, so we then inverted it by doing 1 minus the chance of no goals, which then gave us the chance of that team scoring at least 1 goal. We then combined that with the away team and then put that into a model, and that model allows us to actually look forward or backwards, understand exactly what we're seeing within the market. But on top of that, we actually monitored data from the Football League as the season progressed. And I'm using completed season data here, but what I tend to do as a season progresses is that scatter plot gets updated each week, and I get to see where those teams are beginning to cluster in terms of the chance of them scoring a goal or not scoring a goal, how many average goals they're scoring. But think about it, you could actually refine this further by using shot data, XG data, all of the above, combined, weighted. There's so many different things that you can do. It would take too long to explain all of those things. But hopefully what you've figured out here, or what you've learnt, is that there is actually a logical way to approach this particular market. And if you follow all of the steps that I've done here, there's absolutely no reason why you couldn't use this successfully, whether you're betting or trading on the both to score market. Anyhow, I hope that video has been useful for you.